Hi, I'm Lily Gonzalez, and I'm an open carrier, and I've been an open carrier for over 2 years, I think. Um, I'm an open carrier in part as a result of the murder of a West Point graduate by the name of Eric Scott. And you can, I'll put a link on the description of this YouTube if you want to know more about that. He was murdered by cops. So I've been an open carrier ever since, and ever since I bought my 45, and I carry it everywhere. You can see I even carry it around the house, and I've never had any issues that I could think of. But today I had my first experience. I live in Utah now, and I live about 30 miles from St. George, and it's going to snow where I live. So we went into town, and I went to the bank, open carrying, just the ATM. But I mean, I've been in the bank open carrying when I opened the account when I first moved here. No issue. It's almost as though my gun was invisible, even though I'm very flamboyant about how I open carry, because I wear contrasting colors to make it very obvious that I do have a weapon. And so my husband and I went to Kentucky Fried Chicken. I'm open carrying, no problems, been there a dozen times. Then from there we went to my favorite thrift shop, which happens to be a Catholic thrift shop there in Mormonville. And I really love this place because they have some really great deals, and I like just hanging out there and looking through the stuff. And I've been there at least a dozen times. I just know it, and I've always open carried. And today, for some reason, one of the volunteers there, an old lady that I recognized, I mean, I've seen her there before. She came up to me and she whispered in my ear and she said, "Is your gun loaded?" And I said, "Yes." And she said, "Would you mind leaving it at the front desk?" And I said, "Yes, I would mind." And I says, "But I'll be more than happy to leave." I says, "I do have a couple of items. Would you be so kind as to, take my money for them?" And she said, "Sure." So there were 4 people in line, and she opened up her own register, and she couldn't get rid of me fast enough. It was $2.25. I gave her a $20 bill, and she was like, you could see her hands just shaking. And she didn't have Parkinson's. She was actually frazzled. And I don't know why. I mean, I don't think I look scary. I mean, I've looked a lot scarier open carrying as I ride my motorcycle across country, and, my hair's all jacked, and, I've got my, my badass, bandana on, and I got my big old gun on. I've looked a lot scarier, and I don't know what the heck, but there's just something really unnerving about this. And I talked to my friend about it, David Stillwell, and he says, well, it's a Catholic facility, and I get the whole private property thing. If somebody asks me to leave, or obviously I'm going to leave. I've never had an issue with that in my mind, although it's never happened. I don't think I've ever been asked to leave. But he said it just goes to show that this volunteer is probably a Catholic, one of the Catholic people there. And, unless you've got a costume, like a Pope costume or a priest costume or a cop costume, they're very statist. So unless you got the badge and the costume, then who are you to have a weapon? So, the other thing that's kind of unsettling to me, and I really I can't pinpoint it, but it bugs me to think that here this Catholic facility is getting a free ride by the government, because all these religious things don't have to, they're all tax exempt, and yet they're going to not respect somebody's right to, I'll say, right to bear arms. So I don't know. Am I wrong? Thanks for listening, and give me your comments, because I still don't know what to make of all of this. So thanks for tuning in, and I'm going to